Hello and welcome to a very English craft room. And another in the scrapbooking series. This time I will be scrapbooking some photographs of my daughter when she was in pantomime. So to start with, I was sorting through some photographs of my daughter in various pantomimes and dance shows, trying to pick out which ones I wanted to go with which and which layouts I would use them for. So that one there with her in the sailor's dress and straw boater, you'll see I've actually scrapbooked in another layout, and the one there with the several girls dancing on the right, again, that's going to be in a future video as I've already scrapped that one. The acrylics I'm using for this layout are from a company called Poppy's Crafty Owl. So there's two sets of acrylics here, one that says shoot for the stars and one that was a series of black and silver stars. For the background of this, I decided I would stencil the whole of the background with 4 different colour stars, so 2 shades of blue, 1 in yellow and 1 shade of red. Before I started this, I thought it wouldn't take very long, but it actually took absolutely ages. So I've cut a lot of it out here and speeded the rest up for you. I chose these colours for the stars because it actually picks out the colours from the photographs that I'm going to be using, and I decided to do them on a plain white background as this layout was going to be busy enough as it is, as you can see, with all those different stars going on there. My daughter danced in pantomime quite a number of times, and in a couple of them she also had like the lead juvenile role, so she had some lines to learn as well as interacting and improvising with the lead cast. The photograph there at the top left hand side is one of my favourite photographs of my daughter from Panto. She was playing a character called Mavis, and the other person in the photograph there is a gentleman called Barry, who was playing a character called Simple Simon, and this was in a pantomime called Jack and the Beanstalk, and one of her main roles was to look after the pantomime cow, which incidentally, due to an outbreak of flu, I ended up being the front end of the pantomime cow, and myself and the person who was the back end actually could both tap dance, so we surprised the cast by tap dancing as the cow on stage during the show. So I decided that I wanted to put the title there, Reach for the Stars, on some white there because the background was really rather busy. So I'm just sticking it down here with some all-purpose glue. Pantomime, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, or otherwise known as Panto, is a traditional show, a theatre show that takes place at Christmas in the UK, and it's based on traditional fairy stories like Jack and the Beanstalk, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, etc, etc. These shows have lots of singing, dancing, lots of jokes and lots of slapstick in them, and are also interactive with lots of audience participation in the singing and some of the games and activities on stage. So now I've sorted out exactly what I want to use, I'm now going to start the actual assembling of the page, of the layout. So I've got some double-sided tape on the back of those photographs, and I'm going to use the T-square to make sure they sit symmetrically on the page, or as far as possible, and that they sit level on the page. The other photographs are from the last pantomime that my daughter did, and she was one of the senior dancers in the show, one of the 2 senior dancers. Well, there was 2 per show, however there were 4 of them in 2 teams, but my daughter was also what they called the swing, so she danced every person's part as well as doing her own part as understudy for all the others. And all the other senior dancers were unwell at one point or the other during the run of the show. The shows generally go on for 2 to 3 weeks. My daughter was also unwell during the time, but she actually continued to dance while she was unwell. She danced with a high temperature, with a fever, and on antibiotics whilst having tonsillitis. However, there was nobody else to cover for her, and that's just the way she is, she'll just plough on anyway. Doing these shows is a lot of fun for the dancers involved, and my daughter and myself both have very fond memories of her taking part in these in various different pantomimes over various years. So having stuck all the photos down, we're now sticking the sort of secondary title down there. This one says Panto Time, and I've used these little tiles that are like wooden Scrabble tiles. I had quite a selection of these, but not a full set of the alphabet. Some of the letters I've got are repeated multiple times. I've used them quite a few times, so it was quite nice to use some of the leftovers. So popping the stars there on the page, the ones from Poppy's Crafty Owl, to just sort of lead across the page from one corner to the other. Once I've decided where they are, where they want to be, I'm going to stick them down, and I've also found some silver star brads which I'm going to use, which is what you could just see me laying on there. And I will prop them on properly once I've decided where they need to be. And I'm also going to use some star gem stickers as well. So now using this all-purpose glue to stick the acrylics down. I hadn't actually used much in the way of acrylics before using these from Poppy's Crafty Owl, but I do actually quite enjoy using them now. So just using this dental tool that I use for almost everything in scrapbooking. It's a very good multi-purpose tool. I'm using it there to poke a hole through the paper there. Sometimes I also use it to open up the split pin part of the brad as well, if it's a difficult one to open with my fingers or my nails. So there you go, you can see I'm using it for that purpose there. A little tip if you're using brads is to put some tape across the back of them where they open up, so that when you slide them into the page protectors they don't catch on either the page protector or onto the page that's on the reverse of that one in the page protector. As well as being the pantomime cow in one of the pantomimes, I've been backstage crew, children's chaperone, and also wardrobe mistress, sourcing and making quite a lot of the costumes. As well as scrapbooking, I like to sew, knit, crochet, paint, and various other crafts. So comment down below if you enjoy various crafts as well, and if you would like some how-to videos on other aspects of crafting. And if so, what crafting and what sort of level and what parts of it you would like to see. So you can see here that I'm just now sticking on the gemstones that are star-shaped. Some of them I'm going to stick on the photograph or overlapping the photograph, so that it gives sort of like a multi-dimensional layer. So you've got the stars underneath the photographs and the stars on top of the photographs as well. So this layout is just about finished now. If you have enjoyed this video and would like to see some more, please check out the rest of my videos on my YouTube channel and click on the like and subscribe buttons so that you'll get notification every time I bring out a new video. So again, just finishing off with some of these little stones, they're little stars, and in varying different sizes. Sometimes it's knowing when to stop. So now just the final few stars, and there we are, completed. So I'd like to thank you for joining me here in A Very English Craft Room, and hope that you will join me again soon.